It is a testament both to the challenge Paul faced in dealing with what he called the super apostles, those who preached a gospel of rigid adherence to the law, and to his ability to withstand hardship. Even if he was exaggerating just a little bit, what he endured for the sake of the gospel is enough to make anyone sit up and take notice. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Most of us, faced with hardship, try to find the easy way out. Whether it is the threat of physical hardship, financial stress, or social humiliation, most of us, most of the time, will look for the easiest possible solution to get us out of a jam. Some will even resort to cutting legal corners to make things work out, especially when financial stresses eat away at their sense of security. Now, there are some who actually relish hardships, especially physical hardships. They will push themselves and punish their bodies just to prove to themselves that they are up to the challenge. Runners, for example, push themselves to run ever faster times. Some will seek out ever longer running challenges. At only 26.2 miles, marathons aren't enough. Now there are ultramarathons of 100 miles and even a few as long as 200 miles. Then there's the Ironman triathlon competition, which one of our members has had remarkable success competing in, which combines a 2.4-mile swim, a 110-mile bike ride, and a full 26.2-mile marathon. But that's not what Paul was dealing with. He wasn't trying to push himself to see what he could withstand. In fact, I'm sure Paul would just as soon have avoided most or all of the challenges he faced. But instead of simply taking the easy way out, he faced them. Now, keep in mind that in this section of 2 Corinthians, Paul is trying to demonstrate to the Corinthians why they should trust him as opposed to some of the other itinerant preachers who came through Corinth, but especially those he derisively called those super apostles. In the portion we read yesterday, Paul based his appeal on the substance of his preaching. In today's readings from 2 Corinthians, he bases his appeal on his endurance of hardship as a sign of the depth of his commitment. He says, "But whatever anyone dares to boast of, I'm speaking as a fool, I also dare to boast of that. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I am talking like a madman. I am a better one, with far greater labors, far more imprisonments, with countless floggings, and often near death. 5 times I've received from the Jews the 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I received a stoning. 3 times I was shipwrecked. For a night and a day I was adrift at sea. On frequent journeys, in danger from rivers, danger from bandits, danger from my own people, danger from Gentiles, danger in the city, danger in the wilderness, danger at sea, danger from false brothers and sisters. In toil and hardship through many a sleepless night, hungry and thirsty, often without food, cold and naked. And besides other things, I am under daily pressure because of my anxiety for all the churches." Whew. I don't know about you, but 1 lash from a whip would be enough for me to pack it in. 39 lashes would do me in. The same punishment 5 times? To say nothing of the other hardships Paul faced, all of which Paul uses to underline the level of commitment to the gospel as he saw it, which, by the way, also happens to be the gospel as it has come down to us, mostly thanks to Paul. It is a testament to the lengths he was willing to go to proclaim the good news of the grace of God in Jesus Christ. Maybe this is Paul's last-ditch plea to the Corinthians to return to the gospel as he preached it. Maybe he was so exasperated with them, so fearful that they were heading in the wrong direction, that he was willing to do what he said he would never do, brag about his endurance. The Corinthian church seems to have been remarkably susceptible to the to the newest shiny object. In this case, the latest preacher to come to town who looked and sounded good. Paul apparently couldn't compete on the basis either of his looks or on the basis of the sound of his voice. All he had to fall back on was his ability to persuade them. And his ability to persuade them seems to have come down to convincing them of the depth of his commitment as based on the amount of suffering he endured. And he endured a lot. More than I would probably endure, and probably more than you would. It was a lot. Tomorrow, Paul boasts again, but this time he boasts of his weakness, which turns out to be his strength. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.